tell us about your father's model collection, basically. You're now looking to move this on, and you're looking for a new home. So if you can just tell us a little bit more of the history of how your father came to build his collection.
My father moved to Stratford in 1979 and started building railway models of Stratford not long after we moved here. One of those models, the first one he built, has already gone and has been collected by the people at Didcot at the Great Western Railway Centre, so that has been found a home. Mm-hmm. This one here that you see behind me is the last model he built. Very few people have seen it because it was only finished during lockdown not long before his death, and we desperately want to try and find it a home, as it is a representation of Stratford as it was in the 1840s.
And so you've got the original the basin as we know today, but also this part of an extended basin that probably nobody knows was there, or many people wouldn't know was there. How did he come to create this in so much detail? He must have done a lot of research.
It took him around about 10 years to build this, and a lot of that time was not construction, it was research. The model predates 1850s, predates photography, so there were no pictures of what this was like. So he spent an awful lot of time in the records office and elsewhere looking at old plans, diagrams, even paintings of the area to be able to reconstruct what would have been there during that time, which, as you can see, was far more industrial than the pleasant gardens that the tourists like to visit today. The second basin was filled in, I don't know precisely when, but it now forms the main part of the gardens running up to the theatre.
How many years' work is represented in this house from your father?
Around about 40 years' work in total went into these models.
And you've found a home for one of the models at Didcot, I understand?
That is correct, yeah.
So that's looked after. So ultimately, where would you like this to go?
I would like this to stay in Stratford. It is a unique piece of Stratford history, took an awful lot of research to produce, and it deserves to stay in Stratford if somebody is prepared to give it a home. I'm not trying to sell it, I just want it to have somewhere where people can see it and enjoy it and learn from it.
Because there is so much history represented here that perhaps many people aren't aware of.
No, that's absolutely true. Stratford is obviously synonymous with Shakespeare, but Shakespeare didn't drive the development of the town. How it's laid out, what it looks like now, was all down to its industry, which this model demonstrates.
Well, let's hope you find a new home for it. Thanks very much.
Welcome to Harry Cohen's Canal Basin model and a selection of some photos thanks to his son Will. Harry Cohen was a teacher at the Girls' Grammar School here in Stratford. He designed 3 models, 2 of the models were of the railways, and the third model was of Stratford's canal basin in the 1840s. This occupied much of the front room of his house, and visitors to his cramped model room were amazed as to the scale of the model and all its detail. The model is too large to be displayed in this exhibition, so we would like to show you around the model by way of this short video. For more details, please visit the Canal Basin Model Storybook. A link will be at the end. The canal came from Birmingham and was completed in 1816. It flowed into the basin from under the canal bridge at Bridgefoot, the bottom of Bridge Street. A second basin was added in 1826 with more wharfs, and workers' cottages all along waterside would have looked out onto these wharfs. Today the RSC has replaced the warehouses, and the second basin was replaced with gardens. Warehouses were built on the wharfs all around the basin to store the goods in transit, mainly coal, stone, and timber, before shipping them off to other parts of the country and the world. The Navigation Inn, later the Unicorn and now the Pen and Parchment, with its stable block, was a coaching house, one of at least 24 coaching inns used by travellers on their way to Banbury, Oxford, and London. There are two bridges. The 14-arched stone Clopton Bridge was for coaches and horses. Today, cars and lorries. The tramway bridge was built in 1826, at the initiative of William James, to carry goods, and sometimes passengers, as far as Moreton-in-Marsh. The wagons ran on a railway track. The tramway, however, was short-lived and had ceased to operate by 1900. The boathouse cottage back in 1840. Today's boathouse and restaurant with the cottage behind. Cox's Timber Yard Wharf with the Clopton Bridge Toll House. Today's Cox's Yard Pub with the Clopton Bridge Toll House. A Stratford Society video with grateful thanks to David Austin for the photos.